Prologue, somewhere in the universe. The stage appears empty with a dim spotlight on a woman surrounded by newspapers, curled over on the floor in a defeated position. She doesn't move. If anything, she flickers. She appears more like a hologram than a real person. The stage is filled by her voice, which sounds light years away. It is tubular, distant, and out of reach.
What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? Headline after headline, hashtag the next hashtag. I keep repeating the same cries, the same names, the same chants. Don't time got something new? I'm calling in black. I'm calling on somebody black to come show us the way. This is a black girl calling time out. This is a black girl who wants to stop time. I know you're out there in the universe, listening for a black girl cry, this to cry. I'm calling on you.
2020. In 2020, the stage lights up with a vibrant blue and feels very afro-futuristic, perhaps presented by the music playing, the lights and set. The set is reflective of a junkyard of items that all have a futuristic glow. It is a convergence of time, a collage and a collide. Suddenly, a black woman dressed in what appears to be 19th century attire with a twist falls from a portal in the ceiling, while the projector is the portal of which the black woman is thrown out of. She lays on the ground, seemingly unconscious, knocked cold from her fall. Suddenly, she stirs and feels the ache of the fall in her entire body.
God damn! Oh, I'm sorry for using your name in vain, but Lord God the Father and the Holy Spirit, damn! Some fall, Ida. Girl, I have told you, one foot in front of the other. You cannot be this smart and this clumsy. I hope nobody saw that.
Ida takes in her surroundings for the first time.
Whoa. What? Where am I? Hello? Hello? Is anybody there? It's me, Ida B. Wells. I tripped and fell, and now I don't know where I am or what all of this even is. Are y'all playing tricks on me? Frederick, I have told you I do not like games, Douglas. What is going on?
There's a girl standing right here, unable to decipher the truth. Why has the weight of the world fallen on black girls' shoulders?
Hello? Who's there?
Suddenly, hundreds and hundreds of newspapers fall from the sky. Some float gently and slowly down the room, while others land in heavy thuds with a quick drop to the ground.
Newspaper.
In confusion but excitement for answers, Ida grabs the newspapers falling from the sky.
Police killings are the 6th leading cause of death amongst young black men. Say her name. Black women are killed by police too. What in the world is all of this?
As most of the papers have fallen to the ground, Ida grabs one more stack.
In 2020, America's legacy of lynching isn't all history. 2020? Ain't no way lynching's still happening in 2020. I warned y'all about this.
We need answers. We need someone to come make sense of it all because shit ain't adding up. I know you're out there in the universe, listening for a black girl cry. This the cry.
I hear you. Whomever and wherever you are, I hear you. I will find the facts. Somebody must show that the Black race is once again dying on the outskirts of justice, and it seems that it's fallen on me to do so. Again. But where the hell do I start?
A watch is thrown from the portal.
2012 and 2013 are a good place to start.
Who the hell are you?
Hi, I'm Iola, your personal time travel assistant.
Assistant? Never had one of those before. I'm both flattered and scared. Okay, listen, I think I've been called here by someone who really needs my help. I'd like to speak with her more before beginning my investigation. Can you take me to her?
Silly Ida, that's not how time travel works. Did you say you would like to go to 2012 and 2013?
No, I would like to speak to that young lady right now.
Sure.
Oh, thank you.
2012 and 2013 it is. Let's go.
Hey!
Ida zaps away into 2012 and 2013. Ida B. Wells, now George Zimmerman, lands in Sanford, Florida, in a gated community, retreat at Twin Lakes. She wears a badge that reads Neighborhood Watchman and continuously circles a can of tea and a packet of Skittles center stage. Sanford Police Department.
Hey, we've had some break-ins in my neighborhood, and there's a real suspicious guy near Retreat View Circle. The best address I can give you is 111 Retreat View Circle. This guy looks like he's up to no good, or he's on drugs or something. It's raining, and he's just walking around, looking about.
Okay, and this guy, is he white, black, or Hispanic?
He looks black.
Did you see what he was wearing?
Yeah, a dark hoodie and like gray sweatpants or something, and he's a black male.
How old would you say he looks?
Oh, he's gotten a button up. Late teens.
Late teens, okay.
Something's wrong with him. Yup, he's coming to check me out. He's got something in his hands. I don't know what his deal is, but these assholes, they always get away. Shit, he's running.
You say he's running. Which way is he running?
Down towards the other entrance of the neighborhood.
Sir, are you following him?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need you to do that.
Okay.
All right, sir, what's your name?
George, he ran.
All right, George, what's your last name?
Zimmerman.
And George, what's the phone number you're calling from?
407-435-2400.
All right, George, would you have them on the way? Do you want to meet with the officer when they get out there?
Yeah.
All right, where are you going to meet with them at?
Swept by the time passing around her, Ida B. Wells rips off the badge and replaces it with hashtag Black Lives Matter fitted cap. Ida now, Alicia Garza, sits at a laptop in front of a computer and types furiously.
Those of us who are watching and following the trial, which was kind of like the OJ trial for many of us and how riveted we were, I don't think expected that George Zimmerman was not going to be convicted for something. There was a real disgusting way in which the mainstream respectability narrative was looking for a reason that Trayvon was dead. And where they were looking was in his family, in his behavior. You know, they did everything they could to blame that poor child for his murder. When he was acquitted, it felt like a gut punch. And I remember sitting with friends and talking, and there was nothing to say, but we just wanted to be around each other. I was basically popping off on Facebook, sending love notes to Black people and saying, we don't deserve to be killed with impunity. We need to love ourselves and find a world where Black lives matter. Black people, I love you. I love us. We matter. Our lives matter. Enter. And Patrice was like, oh my God, Black Lives Matter. She put a hashtag in front of it, and that's the origin of it. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
Ida removes the hashtag Black Lives Matter cap.
Acquitted. No shock there. Since when are the slave patrol on the right side of history? Not in my timeline.
Remember, this is the year 2013. These are police officers.
Yeah, new name, same badge, but fine. Only for the record, the correct term for 2013 is police officer. We couldn't even get them to do their job in stopping lynchings. Hell, half the time they were the ones tying the rope. And you're telling me that hasn't changed? So this is what y'all brought me back forward for.
Ida rushes over to the computer and begins researching. Ida B. Wells' typing is painfully slow, though with passion, noticeably different from when she was embodying Alicia Garza.
I mean, the statistics are just damning. Black people die at the hands of police at a rate that is almost equivalent to the number of documented lynchings during the earliest 20th century. Emphasis on documented, thanks to you know who. Focus, and let me guess. Just as I thought, the United States government has no comprehensive record of the number of people killed by law enforcement. Instead, y'all have been relying on the media and grassroots organizations to investigate the void. I mean, I see here that groups are doing the work to set the record straight, so how am I supposed to help? What is it exactly that I'm supposed to be doing here?
I'm calling on you.
Any help here, time travel assistant?
Sorry, I cannot be of assistance in this area. If I had all the answers, then you wouldn't need to be here. You know what they say, technology is only as smart as the maker.
Some assistant. You know damn good and well I don't know what they say about technology.
Don't Tom got something new to offer?
Focus, Ida. So Black Lives Matter is first used in approximately July of 2013, which means on the timeline of Black mortality, we are here. Whoa, what the hell happened in 2014? Take me to 2014 through 2018, please.
You don't have to yell.
Ida snaps her fingers and zaps away. 2014 through 2018. Ida B. Wells lands in a recognizable film store entitled Blackbuster Video Headquarters. Surrounding her are shelves filled with videotapes. Each tape has a name. There are thousands and thousands, rows upon rows of tapes.
Welcome to Blackbuster, the growing collection of cell phone and body cam footage of our people dying unjustly. How can I help you?
Damn it, Iola. I asked to be taken to 2014 through 2018.
The 2014 through 2018 aisle is right around the corner. We've been expecting you. You never could resist an archive. The hallway is quite long, so if you get lost, use the emergency exits to return to the lobby. You can locate those exits by looking down at the flashing arrows.
As the customer service operator drones on, Ida becomes curious and begins peering down the 2014 through 2018 hallway. She approaches the very first shelf and sees a name, Eric Garner. She reaches for the tape.
I should mention, please do not touch any of the tapes.
Why? Doesn't look so fragile to me.
Please do not touch.
Ida touches the Eric Garner tape. Her body no longer belongs to her.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Ida quickly removes her hand from the videotape, gasping for air in horror.
What the hell was that?
I told you not to touch the videos.
Oh, my God, that was the most terrifying feeling of my life.
Touching the videos simulates what it feels like for Black people to constantly watch these videos. We are not technically the ones dying, but we feel it just the same.
Ida reaches for the video again.
Are you sure you want to do that?
We are inundated with images that overflow our inner glow, that overwhelm our sense of self.
This investigation requires I know everything, that I witness it all just as my people have.
Okay, girl, suit yourself.
Ida touches the Eric Garner video again. As she speaks, she carries the tape with her.
I was a daddy's girl. Everything that my dad taught me, you have to be a leader, you have to lead by example. Now I understand why he was telling me all these things growing up. I just miss him a lot. I do. He died on the streets of Staten Island. My sister calls and it was a shock because I was in the middle of the day, like, what are you calling me for? So she's like, oh my God, Erica, I just got some bad news. I don't know, mom, she's hysterical, she's crying, she's yelling out, he stopped breathing. I'm like, who stopped breathing, She's talking about daddy, daddy. I said to my coworker, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. My dad stopped breathing. As we driving out there, we see news vans and police tape around the area. A news reporter from Daily News said that there's a video, and my brother, I don't know, he disappeared. He went in the back and got on the computer and looked it up. My brother just screamed out. He was like, y'all, come look. All I can hear is my mom screaming. I was just yelling at the screen, like, get off him. That's like, stop it. My head was spinning. I was hot throwing up. That's how we found out. On the ride home across the bridge, the cab driver got upset, like, these damn protesters. I was like, what protesters? Where? That's when I seen, I guess there had to be 1 million people outside. They screaming out, Eric Garner. I stood out the window. I was like, thank you. I'm Eric Garner's daughter. They surrounded the car like, we love you. We doing this for you guys. It felt like, wow. Like, in my saddest moment when I didn't know how to feel, I seen all these people out here for my dad, and that just made me feel empowered in a way. Wow.
Ida lets go of the tape and returns to her own body.
Whew. May she rest in power.
How do you know what happened to her?
I can hear it in her voice.
Ida returns to the shells.
Back for more?
I just need a bit more.
Ida touches a tape that reads, Michael Brown. Her body no longer belongs to her.
He looked up at me and had the most intense, aggressive face. It looks like a demon. That's how angry he looked. Just coming straight at me like he was gonna run right through me. And when he gets to about 8 to 10 feet away, I look down. I remember looking at my sights and firing. All I see is his head, and that's what I shot.
Ida removes her hand from the tape.
Darren Wilson, officer who killed Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. Notice how he denies this young man his humanity by likening him to a demon. Straight out the lynching playbook. Chilling.
Ida returns her hand.
For several months, whenever someone would introduce me, they would mention Ferguson. I would watch as people's eyes change, softening and flooding with concern instantly. Many of us made huge sacrifices in order to maintain a presence of resistance. People quit their jobs, postponed school, and were met with opposition from family and friends. But the heaviest price came not from tough personal battles, but from the very people we were protesting against, the police. Police began to harass us on a very personal level. They targeted people for illegal arrest, asked us detailed questions about our families, and maintained a threatening physical presence in our everyday lives. When I was arrested, the Ferguson PD raised my bail to an exorbitant amount, enacted a 24-hour hold, and tried to deny me basic rights. It became increasingly clear that there was a heavy price to pay for challenging the status quo and standing up for Black life. Many of us are just beginning to understand how much being from Ferguson really cost us. PTSD symptoms I now exhibit after the events in August are something I might wear for life. Ferguson resonated with so many people because Ferguson is really everywhere. The economic assault via government schemes, police brutality, and culpable leadership are dynamics that play out across the globe. There is a lot to be taken away from the events that took place. And as the deconstruction of Ferguson by academics begins, let us not forget the spirit of resistance that brought us here.
Ida removes her hand from the tape.
All of this in the same year.
Yup. And you don't even want to know what they started doing with those activists. Black identity extremists, as the FBI called them, disappearing one by one.
Whew. Look at all these names.
Ida walks through the videos in awe. She reaches for a tape that reads, Tamir Rice.
I'm warning you for real this time. It's in your best interest not to touch that one.
Why does it look so different? Bright colors and quirky handwriting like it's for kids? Oh, I see. For the sake of my mental, I will not be touching that one. So these recording devices, this is the proof of what happened, but nothing changes the outcome? You know, we had an archive too. Well, it wasn't really our archive, it was more their archive. Picture after picture of lynching after lynching. These photos were passed around like postcards at Christmas, and all we could do was try not to look too closely. Okay, that's enough. I can't watch anymore.
Oh, but it only gets worse from here. You haven't even looked at Freddie Gray in 2015 or Philando Castile in 2016. Then there's the shooting in Dallas.
What happens to the people with no videos?
The who?
You know, the people who die, but there's no cell phone or body cam, as you call it, to capture the crime. From what I can see, the hashtag carries all the weight these days. No hashtag, no proof of living. Oh, there are surely names missing in the archive. There must be more individuals who will never be at the forefront of our memories. They have names too. And you know what? You almost got me. Where are all the women? I have not heard the name of a sister this entire time.
Yes. Those names are in the back.
Ida takes a few steps and looks around.
Farther than that.
Ida takes a few more steps.
Farther. Keep going. Matter of fact, just don't stop moving your feet.
Ida is all the way at the back of the stage now.
There you go.
She stares at a shelf of dusty videos.
Really?
Hey, don't blame me. The archive treats Black women the way the world treats Black women.
Of course. This one just says, say her name.
Ida touches the video.
The Say Her Name campaign began in the summer of 2014, when there were many police killings of Black men that had prompted Black Lives Matter and prompted a lot of political protests. But there were also some killings of Black women that had happened. A few happened within a few weeks of Mike Brown. One in particular was Michelle Cusseau. She was a Black woman who was killed when police were called to do a health and wellness check on her, and she didn't want to come with the police. So a police officer broke into her home and confronted her and shot her through the heart. Her mother, Fran Garrett, said that she wanted to make sure the world recognized that the police had killed her daughter, even though in all of the uprisings and the protests, no one was saying Michelle's name. So she took Michelle's coffin to City Hall to really make a point that this Black woman was also killed by the police. So when we saw that at the African American Policy Forum, we thought, how many other Black women have been killed by police and we just don't know about it because people aren't saying their names?
Excuse me, Miss Ida B. Wells. I don't mean to interrupt the legend and all, but can I say something?
My God, you scared me. So you telling me it's been a sister behind that screen the entire time? Who are you?
Well, no, I'm not your time travel assistant. I am Brayla Stone, Mercy Mack, Shaky Peters, Izon Nettles, Tatiana Hall, Bree Black. I am Marsha P. Johnson. I am all the girls who felt silent.
You can't be all those people at once.
We are Black trans women who face violence every day. Globally, our life expectancy is 35 years old. When we heard you were traveling the timeline, we wanted to come and tell you, remember us. Whoever reads your report, we want it documented all the ways in which the system has tried to kill us and failed and failed and failed. I came here to tell you, you better include us in your archive and do so correctly.
Inspired, Ida picks up a set of wings she has spotted on stage.
My name is Raven Aria Wings, African Mohawk, Bermudian, Two-Spirit, trans woman, a Black Renaissance storyteller, a blueprint, and abolitionist. Today, we are here to remember, to acknowledge, and to celebrate the lives of trans people. There's so much to be angry about. I am so angry. I'm frustrated. I'm tired. I'm tired of being constantly on defense mode, always ready, always prepared, always watching, always being watched. For trans people, we are never really thought about or cared for in public space. My sisters are criminalized for being poor, for being sex workers, for being in public without apology, for being trans. We spend so much of our life justifying who we are. And too many of our sisters have been stolen, have been murdered. We know what we face and we still manage to love. We love hard, we love honestly, and we love ourselves free. We love each other free. It is in our very technology that we transcend white supremacy. Black trans women are not rehabilitation centers for unstable and insecure cis men and women. My wish, my prayer, my spell, my quest is to ensure that all trans people live a life that is love rich, where there's no need to talk or strategize about our safety, because our bodies will no longer be sites of violence for fragile masculinity to sharpen itself against. The spirit always wins in the end. Those who have passed on now join the generations of angels in our airwaves. They hold, they keep us safe. They allow us to continue, and we must continue to live, to fight, to enjoy, to protect each other. No one will be left behind because we will all move together. We save us. We always have. We always will. Ashe. Bewitch.
Ida gently sets down the wings.
Ashe. Thank you. Thank you, Raven and Brayla, Andrea and Tatiana and Marsha and so many more. I've learned something here today. History will have you believe that the terrors of lynching only happened to Black men, but Black women, who is here to tell us that our lives matter? Okay, universe, I get it. From 2014 to 2018, over 6,538 Black people died at the hands of police officers or in police custody. Almost 25% of these deaths started as routine traffic stops and took place all over the United States, from Louisiana to Minnesota to New York, but most typically in the South. Surprise, surprise. The police officers involved, who are 75% white, rarely ever receive indictment or firing or pension removal. If they do get fired, they often move to other cities where they continue enacting harm. Oh, and don't forget about the blue wall of silence. Police officers protect their own until the cycle repeats and repeats and repeats.
Don't forget about Karen's role in all this.
The who?
Karens, plural. The white women who weaponize their inherent victimhood and use policing as a shield to perpetuate violence against the Black community. You know, like...
Oh, believe me, honey, I know. Haven't you read my books? White Woman Crying Wolf was one of the main justifications for lynching back in the day. It has been a power tactic of white women for a while. No surprise, it's morphed to just dialing 911 to do the dirty work.
911, what's your emergency? Ida morphs.
I'm a white person with brown hair about shoulder length, a navy blue sweatshirt and jeans. I'm wearing Nike shoes that are white and gray with a little Nike symbol. Yeah. I would like to report that someone is illegally using a charcoal grill in a non-designated area on in Lake Merritt Park near Cleveland Cascade. I'd like it to be dealt with immediately so that coals don't burn more children and our city has to pay more taxes.
911, what's your emergency? Ida morphs again.
She was selling water from across the ballpark without a vendor permit. They were screaming about what they were selling. It was literally nonstop. Every 2 seconds, come and buy my water. It was continuous and it wasn't a soft voice. It was screaming. I've been putting up with this for hours and I just snapped. I have no problem with enterprising young women. I want to support that little girl. It was all the mother and just about being quiet. It was stupid. I completely regret that I handled it so poorly. It was completely stress related and I should have never confronted her. That was a mistake, a complete mistake. Please don't make me sound horrible.
911, what's your emergency?
No more. Becky, Karen, Patty, Sally. Oh, this is exhausting. Do you know how hard it is to produce white tears at the drop of a hat? Consider the Karen investigation closed. White women still white womaning, I see. We all know how dangerous that is. But thanks for the heads up. I'll be adding dialing 911 as a means of social control to my investigation notes.
I keep repeating the same cries, the same names, the same chants.
No, I know. So with all these hashtags, all these 911 calls, these statistics, the videos, you're telling me nothing ever changes? Come on, there's not 1 year where something about policing feels different?
Well, there is that one time in 2019.
What are you waiting for? Go on and take me there then.
Ida steps away.
We, the jury, find unanimously that the defendant did not cause the death of Botham Jean while under the immediate influence of sudden passion arising from inadequate cause, and assess the defendant's punishment at 10 years imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. It is therefore the order, judgment, and decree of the court that you be taken by the Sheriff of Dallas County and safely transported by her to an agent or representative of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and there you shall be confined until your sentence is discharged. Your sentence will begin today, and you will receive credit for any back time that you have. That being concluded, you may be seated, Ms. Geiger.
A conviction? Oh my goodness. An officer actually in jail for their crimes? I never thought I'd see something like this in my lifetime. Well, I guess it wasn't in my lifetime technically, but this is the start of big change, isn't it? I mean, once you start to hold one accountable, they all start getting scared, changes start getting made. This is progress. This kind of recognition is what we all fought so hard for. So what's the catch? Come on, I've been in this justice thing long enough to know that progress always has a catch.
There is no catch, Ida. Police officer Amber Geiger is serving her time in prison as we speak. This is justice, like you have always wanted. It was you who wrote, "I have firmly believed all along that the law was on our side and would, when we appealed to it, give us justice. I feel shorn of that belief and utterly discouraged. And just now, if it were possible, would gather my race in my arms and fly away with them. Don't you feel better now? This is justice.
This is justice. This is justice. This is justice.
Hello? You good, sis?
Suddenly, a black man's voice fills the stage.
Where is it coming from? Take me there. Take me to that sound.
In an ominous silence, Ida zaps away. 2020 again is hazardous. There are sirens and a smoky haze everywhere. Wear a mask and caution signs are scattered around the stage. Also on stage are 3 altars, installations representing Ahmaud Run, Brianna Sleep, and George Breathe.
Attention, curfew is 9 p.m. All persons who are not indoors by the time of curfew will be subject to state-sanctioned violence, including but not limited to pepper spray, verbal harassment, baton beatings, chokeholds, knee presses, and gunshot wounds to the chest, arm, leg, and back. Remember, be a good patriot and wear a mask. We love you.
A pandemic? Oh, again? Lord, this is giving me flashbacks to 1918. What year is this? 2020. But isn't that where I started? So this is where it all pops off, huh? Where are we? Oh no, not Minneapolis. Fergusons are everywhere. Whatever happened here, it doesn't surprise me. I've seen it all by this point. There it is again. What is that? Come on, take me there. So what am I looking for? Touch the items to begin your investigation. What? Is this a joke? This is not how it went in all the other years. Iola, why aren't you talking to me anymore? Can anyone help me? Hello? Think, why were you called here?
Headline after headline, hashtag the next hashtag. We can't run, we can't sleep, we can't breathe.
We can't run, we can't sleep, we can't breathe. What does that mean?
Amongst the wreckage, Ida spots a pair of running shoes. She runs over to the shoes and picks them up or steps into them. She begins jogging in place.
My name's Wanda Cooper Jones. I'm the mother of Ahmaud Arbery, the gentleman that was killed over in Brunswick, Georgia. Ahmaud actually ran for his life. Then he fought. That tells me that Ahmaud was not ready to die. I've reached out to Breonna Taylor's mom. Hearing from other mothers gives me the strength to let me know that what I'm doing now, which is fighting, is what I'm supposed to do as a mother. I really think that what has happened over the last, say, 4 months, this is different. They're protesting. People are hearing our voices more, and I think that change will come.
Ida removes the shoes and checks the time. She pulls out her notepad. She's rushed.
This is a lynching, not modern day, not 21st century, just a plain old lynching. Citizens arrest is code for vigilante power over Black people, and Georgia has a citizens arrest law older than me. Oh God, how old am I? Okay, stay focused. Ahmaud running on February 23rd, 2020. What's next? Sleep.
Ida spots a comforter. She runs to the item and engrosses herself in it.
Kenny calls me in the middle of the night. He says somebody kicked in the door and shot Breonna. On the news, they're saying it's a drug raid gone bad. And it's so common to hear these things. Drug raid, cops met with gunfire, one suspect dead, the other in custody. She isn't that person on the news. Neither is Kenny. And with COVID happening, it feels like they just want to sweep this under the rug real quick. But we will not let this go. On one particular morning, my sister writes this thing, and it reads something like, my name's Breonna Taylor. On March 13th, the LMPD broke in my house and murdered me, and no one's been arrested or charged. She sends it to me, and I say, okay, I'm going to post this on Facebook. Like an hour later, it has 10,000 shares. It's like a light switch cuts on, and all of a sudden, this story is everywhere. 2 hours later, it has even more shares. And now people are like, I can't believe they did this. And now people are asking, when is the funeral? And I'm like, the funeral was 2 months ago. And the next thing I know, there's a protest. I don't even know anything about it, but people want to see me. They want to say they're sorry. They want to apologize for not listening. And I can't believe it. People are begging for forgiveness like, I'm sorry, we weren't listening. I just can't believe it. I feel like with the whole pandemic, Breonna would be forgotten and we would just get swept under the rug. And how do I feel now? Like, my God, somebody heard me.
Ida removes the comforter. There are only a few minutes left on the clock.
Breonna Taylor, March 13th, 2020, 3 officers involved. She was only 26 and an essential worker. Ahmaud in February, Breonna in March, but Wanda Cooper Jones speaks to Breonna Taylor's mother and says the nation is in uprising in July. That doesn't make sense. That's a big jump. What is the spark? Breath.
Ida runs to a ventilator on stage. Unlike the other 2 items, this signifier did not stand out amongst the 2020 wreckage.
I don't have a lot to say because I can't get my words together right now, but I wanted everybody to know that, to say that this is what the officers took from. At the end of the day, they get to go home and be with their families. Gianna does not have a father. I watched the videos only for a moment because I was like, I couldn't believe that somebody was doing him like that. I wish I could have been there to help him. My heart is broke for my baby. It's broke. I didn't explain what happened to Gianna. She said, I hear them saying my daddy's name. And I told her she doesn't know what happened. I told her that her father died because he couldn't breathe.
Exhausted, Ida lets go of the ventilator and forgets the clock is running.
Wow. I can't breathe. That's what Eric Garner said too, isn't it? The reign of white supremacy is a full body experience, but I can't help but think how it targets our lungs, our breath, after. No, I don't care about the time. I need to say this. I have to say this, please.
This is a black girl who wants to stop time.
Ida stops time and speaks.
Thank you. The reign of white supremacy is a full body experience, but I can't help but think it targets our lungs, our breath. See COVID-19, see tear gas, see George Floyd, see panic attacks. After dedicating the rest of her life to seeking justice for her father, Erica Garner died of a heart attack at 27 years old. I wondered the amount of breaths she took in those 4 years between her father's death and her own. I wonder if she ever allowed herself even one deep breath, just one moment of relief. It don't always be a bullet. Sometimes we bleed from the inside out. Sometimes we clench fists so tight that the heart clenched too. Blood pressure rising like my voice through a megaphone. Like a judge after no indictment. You want to know how to kill a protest? Let life kill the protester. Let stress drown the revolt. How can you say her name when you're gasping for air? Your own burial, the only sit-in you can attend. You can't organize with dreams of chalk outlines reaching for your throat, waking up screaming, panting, searching for phantom exit wounds, saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't. I can feel that pain you feel right now. That's weighing down on you. Don't let it take you out. Before we continue, can we take a few deep breaths? Begin by closing your eyes. Start breathing in and out slowly through your mouth and out your nose, letting your breath flow effortlessly in and out of your body. With your eyes still closed, let go of your thoughts. Inhale. Repeat after me. In this time, I will not think of death or pain. In this time, trauma does not leave from my lips. In this time, I will allow joy to know my heart again. In this time, I am at ease with the world around me. Exhale. Open your eyes. Thank you. You can start the time again now. Where was I? So Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. These deaths aren't new, but this time the whole world is watching because for the first time in a long time, no one has anything better to do. Black folk, we've been dying, but millions watched George Floyd's video and then boom.
That changed the world.
America awakened.
As time passes, a congressional podium glides onto the middle of the stage, 2020 wreckage. Ida steps onto the podium with a tarnished American flag draped around her.
Reserving the right to object Mr. President, in 2018, the Senate unanimously passed bipartisan anti-lynching legislation, which I proudly introduced with the only other Black members of this body, Senator Cory Booker and Senator Tim Scott. It was a historic moment. It marked the first time in the history of our country that federal anti-lynching legislation had been passed by the United States Senate. It passed again by unanimous consent in 2019. Senator Paul is now trying to weaken a bill that has already passed. And it should not require a maiming or torture in order for us to recognize a lynching when we see it and recognize it by federal law and call it what it is, which is that it is a crime and should be punishable with accountability and consequence. No longer should victims and their families go without justice. In closing, Ida B. Wells once said, quote, "Our country's national crime is lynching. It is not the creature of an hour, the sudden outbursts of uncontrolled fury, or the unspeakable brutality of an insane mob. It represents the calculating deliberation of intelligent people who openly avow that there is an unwritten law that justifies them and putting human beings to death without complaint under oath, without trial by jury, without opportunity to make a defense, and without right of appeal. Our country has waited too long for a reckoning on this issue of lynching. I yield the floor."
Ida steps down from the podium and removes her Kamala Harris signifier.
Wow, one hell of a year. Over 240 attempts and an anti-lynching bill still hasn't passed. Southern horrors, the red record. I mean, the proof was all there. How many of us have to die for the law to recognize our death as injustice? How many? My goodness, is there anything else 2020? Anything else?
And the winner of the Special Awards and Citation Pulitzer Prize for her outstanding and courageous reporting on the horrific and vicious violence against African Americans during the era of lynching is Ida B. Wells!
Oh my.
This is Ida
Oh
B.
my,
Wells'
I can't
first
believe
nomination
this.
and first win
Whoever
in
knew this day would
120
come.
years.
Okay. When I began reporting on lynchings years ago, I knew one thing and one thing only. The people deserve to know the truth. I spent most of my life, and I guess now my afterlife, letting my body and my voice be a medium for facts and truth, with the end goal being justice. I wanted to push lynchings into the forefront of the public conversation, and we did that, and you all so graciously continued that work. I would like to thank my family, the Wells and the Barnetts and the Dusters, wherever they are. I know they're living their truth. I would also like to thank the NAACP and the Black press. But last but not least, I could not move forward without thanking my partners in justice, Black women. Black women, I may not have seen everything that's gone down in the 21st century, but I've seen enough to know that too much is the same. I've seen enough to know that the brunt of justice is yet again falling on your shoulders. Black women, my sisters, who wrought justice like we do? Who conjures liberty and freedom in the simplicity of their walk, their talk, and the flick of a wrist like we do? Who has the multi-generational wisdom that travels across time like we do?
Stage goes black for a moment.
There's a girl
standing right here, unable to decipher the truth.
I'm calling in black. I'm calling on somebody black. I'm asking for Ida or Rosa or Tony to come light the way.
Before lighting back up on Ida, who enters a centerlog.
When I crossed that line, I looked at my hand to make sure I was the same person. There was such a glory over everything. The sun came like gold through the trees and over the fields, and I felt like I was in heaven. When I say feminism, I'm not speaking of a mainstream feminism that's represented by figures like Hillary Clinton. I'm speaking of a feminism from below, a feminism that has been generated by Black women. One that emphasizes the interconnections of all social justice struggles. Reclaiming my time, reclaiming my time, That man over there says that women need to be helped into carriages and lifted over ditches and given the best place everywhere. Nobody ever helps me into carriages or over mud puddles or gives me any best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at me. Look at my arm. This is what Barack and I think about every day as we try to guide and protect our girls from this unique light in the spotlight. Our motto is, when they go low, we go high. My response to racism is anger. That anger has only eaten its clefts into my living when it remains unspoken. Black women are expected to use our anger only in service of other people's salvation or learning. But that time is over. I never got coaching. I explained that to you, and for you to attack my character, then something is wrong. You're attacking my character? Yes, you are. You owe me an apology. I have never cheated in my life. You owe me an apology. I have a daughter, and I stand up for what is right for her. I have never cheated. You owe me an apology. I have spent my entire dominant life trying to make sure the white gaze wasn't the dominant one in any of my books. And the people who helped me arrive most at this type of language were African writers. Those writers who could assume the centrality of their race. See me, man get too long, ingwe masa, ma Congo go. This make you feel real good, don't it? You're a real man now, a female for a traffic ticket. You just slammed me to the ground, knocked my head. I got epilepsy, you motherfucker. Thank you for recording. Thank you for a traffic signal. Slam me to the ground and everything. No. People always say I didn't give up my seat because I was tired. But that isn't true. The only tired I was tired of giving in to watch an elected official who claims to represent the people of this state boldly pin his hopes for election on the suppression of the people's democratic right to vote has been truly appalling. So to be clear, this is not a speech of concession. Concession means to acknowledge an action as right, true, or proper. As a woman of conscience and faith, I cannot concede, but let this be unmistakable. This poem is not consent. I do not consent. I rise. Leaving into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
The centerlogue ends. Ida returns to her body exhausted but revitalized.
I think I'm ready to give my report now, but I just need to see one last place. Iola, can you take me to the future?
Sure, Ida. I've never been before, but we can try. How far in the future would you like to go?
Just far enough to justice.
Beloved Andrea, dear brilliance, dear justice, dear black.
Begin to imagine
dear
in the
love,
future
dear
what justice could look, taste, smell, feel, or sound like. But I can tell you right now that whatever it is today,
justice feels like bringing back the dead or telling our mothers to rest from digging our graves. Justice feels like stripping away the power of systems created to strip us down from our humanity. In a perfect world, justice feels like being able to breathe in spring, smells like sweet summer breeze, tastes like winter, feels like fall, and sounds like freedom. Maybe in death we'll be truly be free.
It's the hammer of
And giving
justice.
justice for the countless
It's a
human
bell of
life that was
freedom. It's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters.
In the future, justice feels like joy. Like
years ago, a dear
a sweet, ignorant bliss.
instead of using
Like
in a poem that
you can always tell a boy
I think a part of justice
is still a
is not
boy.
thinking of healthcare or financial support or education or safety as something to get, but as something that just is for everyone. It feels like there's more circles and less lines. There's free water. More shaded area from trees on every street, more trees on every street, more gardens, more bodies moving in peace and joy and growing old, more play,
with what is right or morally
how
good.
can I fill it with the life it asks?
But that leaves me with the question,
with some meaning, beloved Andrea.
just is based on whose morals? Because as history has shown us, it for damn sure ain't ours.
In the future, justice looks like endless investment in public health, in our communities, the end to a carceral and punitive response.
Feels like coming home.
Justice would feel like
Safe and safe and safe again to mom. Sounds like happy birthday to you.
What I think justice will look like in the future and what I hope justice looks like in the future are two different things. What I think is based off of
I feel like
not even 30 years ago,
like
where we seen the same type of national outrage and protest
my
the
focus as a black woman,
as we're seeing now
black
after
people
George Floyd's
feeling
murder.
like they can live in
This
their
town
fullness
was
and their
one the
complexities
trial,
without
but not
the
even
fear
20.
of
It sounds like the click of her heels,
or the fear of
the
needing to
closing
explain
of her front door.
I hope
Black trans
and I'm
women
starting to feel
are making it home safely.
we're already reclaiming our liberation, and that feels like
I will
justice.
dig my hands in the earth. I will stop to listen, 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 as I'm so honored by your request, its pulse, want to be useful and true, to have learned or earned something of meaning in over 42 years of march on, speak out, sit in, write down, listen up, travel to, resist this, challenge that, plant deep, build with, fall apart, rise again, rise again. I want to find some nugget to utter, a haiku, short theory, mantra. But I stutter, my beloved. No clear anything. Only you and you and you, so-called students who are my teachers, daughters, nieces and nephews, blood and beyond, the community I cherish. You are my vision of justice, along with these trees, this black earth, these wild, invigorating waves, wandering deer, turkey family, lone horse, the whale, firefly, a good meal, dancing barefoot, laughing hard. I want to say your best life, my darling. I want to say yes, 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 justice is a word with a body and its future is joy. I want to say skin and home and flesh, every kind of sovereignty, marvel less, and the words ask for more. They ask to be plumped and filled with the real of warm liquid and that train passing with its horn, the liquid of each morning, not fearing for your life or your brothers or sisters, near or far, or ancestors' memory, the real of the promise of growing our souls, as Grace Boggs said, promise of such an idea to be made real as our or we. Oh, how lazy and inadequate for me, an elder, a white sloganeering elder at that, to put the burden back on the young, breaking out of the shell, into the fire again and again, and begin again. We begin again.